In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a system of linear equations and solve the system for an application problem. Now, in this scenario, it says, at a sale of winter clothing, Cody bought 2 pairs of gloves and 4 hats, and he spent $43. It also says that Tori bought 2 pairs of gloves and 2 hats for $30. What were the prices for the gloves and the hats? And then it says G will represent the price of the gloves and H will represent the price of the hats. Now I'm going to show you how to set up a couple equations, and then I'm going to tell you which method I'm going to use to solve. And in a previous video, I went through the 3 methods for solving a system of equations. I'll tell you which method I'm going to use and also why. So for the first equation, if I am reading what it says for Cody's purchases, what I want to do is set up for Cody that he bought 2 pairs of gloves and 4 hats for $43. And so what that's going to look like in an equation is going to be this. 2 pairs of gloves plus and 4 hats, and the total for those purchases is $43. So 2 gloves, 4 hats, and the price times 2 and the price times 4 for hats will get you $43 for the price. And then we have another scenario for Tori. Tori buys 2 pairs of gloves as well, but only 2 hats, and that price was $30. So 2 gloves, but this time only 2 hats, and the price came out to be $30 for Tori. Now what we're going to do is solve our system of equations to find what the price of the gloves are and then the price of our hats. Now I noticed that in my equation, none of my variables have a coefficient of 1. And in order to use, on the previous page here, substitution, I need to solve for one of the variables. And in order to do that, the easiest way would be to have x equals something and y equals something, which means we don't want a coefficient in front of our letter. So in this case, I'm going to use elimination because I also noticed that my coefficients are the same number. Notice how both Tori and Cody bought 2 gloves. And so what I'm going to do is make one of my equations an opposite sign to create what's called elimination. I'm not going to use graphing because they did not ask me for a graphical display. Plus, there's also no graph here for me to graph it anyway. So what I'm going to use is elimination. So these were my 2 equations. 2 gloves plus 4 hats made $43 for Cody's purchases. 2 gloves and 2 hats for $30 for Tori's situation. And now what I'm going to do is multiply this bottom equation by -1. And so here's going to be my new system. I'm not going to change the top function. That's going to stay the same. Here's my new bottom function now that I multiply by -1 to every single term in that function. -2g minus, not 4. Tori bought only 2 hats. And that will equal -30. And now, when I do what is called elimination, and I add these 2 functions together, I notice that my gloves are going to cancel out. So that's what elimination is for. We eliminated one of our variables, and now what I'm going to do is combine the rest of the terms that are alike. So 4h minus 2h is 2h. 43 minus 30 is 13. And if I take half of 13 divided by 2, I get 6.5 or $6.50 for the price of the hat. So hats were $6.50 each. Now, if I take this $6.50 and I substitute it back in for hat, now I can use either equation. It doesn't matter, so pick one equation and now sub $6.50 in for your hat. I'm going to pick the bottom equation just so it looks a little easier to me. 2 gloves plus 2 hats was $30 for Tori's purchases. And I know that the hats now cost $6.50, so I'm going to sub that in for the price of the hat. So 2 gloves plus $13 is equal to 30. And now let's solve for the G. 2G, if I subtract 13, 30 minus 13 is 17. And now I'm going to divide by 2. And my gloves, 17 divided by 2, gloves are 8.5 or $8.50. So I'm kind of running out of room here, so I'm going to put my solution here. And we had gloves and hats. I think the order here doesn't necessarily matter, just as long as you get the price for each, because I don't know that I'd say one really represents more X, one represents more Y. I think here it can kind of go either way. So if I pick gloves first, just because that's what I had first in my equation, gloves were $8.50, and the hats were $6.50. But I don't necessarily believe that it have to be in this order. You could say hats and then gloves, but then just make sure that you order your point in the order that you label it, if that makes sense. If you like this video, hit subscribe, and if you want to see a video on a different topic, let me know and I'll try to make one for you.